What is an example of a liquid asset? Number one, we're going to talk about what is an asset, really define it clearly. Then we're going to talk about how do you own nothing, control it all, Rockefeller style, and the structures that are required. And then we're going to talk about all sorts of examples of liquid assets so you can start building a plan and a portfolio for you and your family. So first, let's talk about what is an asset. I'm going to read some of these just very, very clear definitions. So an asset, it has a financial value. An asset is anything that holds value. The key difference is it appreciating or depreciating. Now that gets really confusing when it comes to investing, because I always say you need to be investing in assets that give you a depreciation schedule, which are losses to your income. But you don't want to do depreciating assets like boats, cars, those kind of things, unless they're classics that actually can appreciate in value. Hard versus liquid assets. Hard assets are real estate, art, equipment, again, vehicles. Liquid are cash and investments that can be converted quickly to cash. So a lot of times if you are in some sort of a fund, you can't get out of the fund. It's illiquid, and it should tell you in the terms before you got in how quick you can liquidate. Like an iFlip, depending on where portfolio you're in, you can liquidate between 48 and 96 hours. So you're locked in for a little while, but within a few days you can get out. If you buy a piece of real estate or into, like I have a farm, if you buy a storage unit and it's in the development phases, that money's being used to develop. It's extremely illiquid, meaning if you call and say, oh, I need that 50,000 back, it's in the ground. It's being used to buy equipment. It just bought, a trailer. It just bought irrigation. It bought whatever the intended use was, the legal intended use. So why is money the most liquid? Because it has an immediate value. It can be used instantly for transactions and doesn't require any selling or exchange of any other asset. So how do you control it all and own nothing? That's through corporate structure. So to begin that, I'm going to give you a gift to come to our Millionaire Intensive. And if you've already come again. Because every time you hear it, you're going to hear something new. And I guarantee people have been there 10, 12 times in a year and said, I learned something every time I come, because you're building, you're learning, you're layering in things that are, I'd say, elementary in the beginning, and then you're getting more sophisticated. So the Rockefeller principle, like Loral Langemeier, don't own a phone. I don't have a phone in my personal name. I don't have a vehicle in my personal name. I have it held in companies. So when your company owns it and the companies are held in trust, you set up a legacy to avoid probate. And please do not get tangled up in those what I call 99-cent stores. Whether that's LegalZoom, there's a trust and will for $199. Those aren't complete packages. Susie Orman used to sell this will package for like $35. Well, will's interesting. Will's about, who gets the stuff. It's not about avoiding probate, which is needing to have a trust, a family living revocable trust. Has to be at the top of your enterprise. So what we do and what I did with Integrated Wealth is I put those teammates together. They must talk to each other on your behalf. There's at least 5 people, I call them the power of 5, necessary to design a Rockefeller legacy. And if you're missing any of them, you're going to have a gap in your plan. So if you're one of those people, call our office and get a gap analysis. While you're getting a gap, inside the show notes, grab 3 chapters to the Millionaire Intensive, fill out a gap, call our office and say, I want to live Rockefeller style. I want to own nothing, control it all, so I can build a legacy and an estate. When you think about structuring your wealth, you want to structure your wealth by how you make the money, how you use all the deductions that are possible, 81,000 pages of the United States, and then how you invest your money. And wealthy people don't invest in just the stock market. It's a component, but we invest in what is really depreciating assets, assets that have a huge tax depreciation schedule, like gas and oil. 85 to 100% is depreciation against your highest income, your ordinary income. It is the king of the kingdom. Aviation's right behind it, water rights, mineral rights. There's a lot of great assets, but how you invest is a huge part of what I call this tax trifecta. How you make it, how you keep it, how you invest it. Now, before we go and we talk about some of the examples of other liquid assets, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you here 5 days a week. I'm here 5 days a week. I need you 5 days. Click that notification button. Listen to everyone. And like I said at the beginning, grab that journal and start taking notes. There's so much for you to learn and implement in your life. If you're serious about letting me help you as a mentor, our teams help you as a team of experts. Again, call our office. Let us help you. Stop suffering and stop guessing. So many of you, you're guessing because you want to do it all by yourself. Why? A, doing it by yourself, you're not an expert. I mean, our tax strategists go to school for 4 to 6 years, usually 6, and then their testing takes another 2. It's like a medical doctor. So why would you trust, yourself to do a sophisticated tax planning and tax strategy and tax return? I mean, you're not trusting yourself to do your own surgery. I just don't get why you guys skimp on the very critical foundation of your business and wealth life. Share this channel also with about at least 10 other people. All right. So let's get into other liquid examples. So other examples is obviously the cash, which includes your savings account, checkings account. Bonds and stocks can be sold pretty quickly. Market fluctuations could affect you having some tax problem with that. Money market accounts and cryptocurrencies that can be converted to cash if you know how to do it. Less liquid assets, obviously, are real estate, collectibles, jewelry, antiques. And again, why get into jewelry, antiques, art, cars, that kind of stuff if you don't know actually how to capitalize on it? This is not just a hoarding thing with these car collectors. They actually have a very, very strategic business on how to make money on those investments. Retirement accounts, which are like your 401k, your Roth IRAs, those kinds of things are absolutely critical. You can do some withdrawals at a certain age, but you will pay tax and have some penalties if you withdraw inappropriately. And the biggest ones, as far as liquid stability, everybody's talked about this 3 months of an emergency fund. I believe that's true if you don't know how to make money. If you know how to make money, then you're going to turn on that money-making machine and through those new sales, be able to handle any emergency. And really, a well-planned life shouldn't have a ton of emergencies. The number one emergency in takedown of wealth, though, is an unplanned health incident. Number 2 is an unplanned legacy, where you didn't plan, you didn't do a trust, you didn't get it organized the way that we would help you get organized. And number 3 would be divorce. So don't do any of them. And if you do, you're going to call us to help you walk through it. So if you need liquidity, just know what it is. Most assets are not liquid. In those that are like real estate, notes, things like that, they're not as liquid. And if you have any questions, go to askloral.com, ask a question, make a request. We're here 24/7 just for you. And we'll talk tomorrow.